Hello, welcome back to Fred in the Shed and this review of these Amazon Basic small desktop computer speakers. Now, no surprise considering the name, these are sold on Amazon. I picked these up in the UK, just over £15, so very much on the budget side. Looking through Amazon's listing, I found these speakers which appear to me to be exactly the same but are sold at a higher price. So the £15 asked by Amazon seems pretty good. Now, when you think Amazon Basics, well, you think value items, and that's what I thought when I made this purchase, something that would just do the job. But now I've got them out of the box and in the hand, these speakers are actually really nicely made. The top part is piano black shiny plastic, but the bottom part is a solid piece of aluminium or aluminium, and they've got quite a nice bit of weight to them, and that's fine for me using them at home. But maybe if you're thinking of using these traveling with your sort of laptop, two of these to sort of together in a laptop bag, yeah, it is going to sort of weigh it down slightly, so that's something that you might want to consider. They certainly are an unusual shape. It's not something that I'd seen before, and they look a little bit high end. If you didn't have the Amazon Basics logo on the top, you would probably struggle to think that they were from the basic range from Amazon. They're hardwired, you haven't got to worry about plugging in any sort of cables. And then when it comes down to the controls, there is a built-in inline volume control. This does feel a little bit sort of cheap and nasty, to be honest. I think it does the job. I mean, mostly you're going to leave this possibly on maximum and you're going to use the sound settings on your computer, so you're probably not going to worry too much about that. On the hardware side, where it plugs in, well, of course there's a USB socket because these are USB powered, so you don't need the extra power brick, and that sort of saves cables. And then there's a standard 3.5 stereo mini jack. One thing you need to consider, and this might be a make or break for you, is that these speakers have an always on blue LED light that sits on this plastic strip here just above the aluminium or aluminum base. I do understand, and I'll be testing this in just a moment, you can disconnect the USB and that will turn off the light, but then that also turns off the internal amplification and the speakers will sound sort of quieter. So we'll be looking at that in just a second, but yeah, that is something that you might bear in mind. Finally, one thing I should just point out, there is a nice sort of rubberized felt base to the speakers, so when you sort of put them down, they don't move about sort of too much. And that's about it. I am very impressed with the design. I think they look quite unusual. They certainly look more high-end than £15. I'm very sort of impressed. So I think it's now we'll move on and we'll take them upstairs. We'll plug them into the laptop. We can check out this blue LED light, see how bright it is. It isn't dimmable, unfortunately. And yeah, we'll just have to sort of see how they sound. I mean, it's no good looking good if they sound completely sort of naff. So let's get on to that part. This is the sort of typical setup you're going to be using these little speakers on. And firstly, you know, what do you think of the blue LED lights? I know they're not going to be to everybody's taste, that's for sure. I actually like them. There is no switch on the speaker itself to turn those little blue LED lights off. If you disconnect the USB connection, then they will go off, but then you lose the built-in amplification, so they do sound a little bit sort of quiet. But yeah, I mean, you know, you've got to be able to live with the blue lights. I'm a bit of a sucker for blue lights. I think they look really nice, and I think they look quite classy. So yeah, for me, the blue lights are certainly not a problem, but as I say, it's something you would need to live with. As these speakers are incredibly small and compact, you wouldn't expect any great deep bass response, and you're not going to be disappointed there because the lower end, it does lack. There isn't any sort of deep room thumping bass. If you want that, you would have to connect a separate subwoofer. But what bass there is all in the mid-range. And it's very, very tight and very controlled. It's perfectly adequate just for small desktop speakers. But it's the higher end that I was really blown away with. The treble on these little speakers, it's very precise, it's very articulate, and it's punching well above its weight, the price that these things go for. I will be playing you out with a couple of clips from the free audio library on YouTube, but from my opinion, summing up, certainly with that really, really nice sharp high end, and the way they look, they just look really quite classy for something that's in the UK sells for around £15. I'm very, very, very impressed with the build quality and certainly that mid-range and high-end treble. But anyway, I will try and play you a couple of clips. Obviously, this is going through the camera microphone, so it's not particularly ideal, but hopefully it will give you sort of some idea. So that's how I'll leave it. Please give the video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and maybe consider me a sub. That would be nice as well. But here's some music.